very strongly pro-Māori and pro-worker. And with those two combinations together, if we get things right for Māori, we get things right for workers, we've got things right for the whole country, as we've said before. So I just wanted to, so all of the policies have that have that thrust. And I just wanted to tell you just two things that struck me in the last few weeks when we were looking at the general political debate. You know, when Don Brash attacked the he attacked mana and he attacked Māori generally. And if you look at the total value of all of the treaty settlements, because he was arguing about treaty settlements, the whole value, you put all of the treaty settlements that have been done so far together, you add up all of the money, it's barely half the amount the government gave to the wealthy investors at South Canterbury Finance last year. It's an absolute disgrace. And yet Don Brash can try and paint Māori as somehow privileged over his rich white mates. So that's one thing. The other thing I want to say to you is this, that it absolutely struck me last week when we had the National Business Review. You know, the newspaper, the National Business Review, every year they publish the list of the 150, just 150, less than the people in this room, 150 wealthiest New Zealanders. Now last year, that group increased its wealth from 38 billion to 45 billion. Those 150 people have taken an extra $7 billion out of the pockets of wage and salary earners in New Zealand for themselves. And John Key is one of those 150. If you took that $7 billion, that's more than the entire Working for Families package. And if we had that money available for the lowest paid New Zealanders, we could give everybody, and there's 500,000 New Zealanders on $15 an hour or less, you could give all of those people a 50% pay increase. The poorest New Zealanders getting a 50% pay increase with just that money. So what we've got is this enormous problem in New Zealand where the wealth is being siphoned out to a very small number of people, and the majority of people are struggling, and day by day, week by week, month by month, it's getting tougher and tougher. And what we need to do is have a mana policies which aim to change that situation. So I'm going to talk about two of them briefly. One of them is the policy on the cost of living and taxation. So I'll just mention 5 of these. First one, to abolish GST. Labor says, abolish GST off fresh fruit and vegetables. I mean, what's that about? That is pathetic. Abolish GST altogether because it's a tax on the poor. And then we reduce the tax paid by low-income earners by not taxing the first $15,000 of what you earn. Okay, the first $15,000, which everybody earns, it comes tax-free. That will benefit the poor hugely. And then we have to make up for that, we have to increase taxes elsewhere. Where do we increase taxes? The financial transactions tax. That's a tax on speculators. People who trade in wealth, that wealth that is created by other people. They're just trading in wealth. It is of no benefit to humanity. We put a tax on them, and that's the honey-hickey tax, right? Which is going to enable us to chop other taxes. A comprehensive capital gains tax. Labor says it should be 15%, and they've got a very reduced area they're going to put it. It should be across the board. All of a person's income should be in the pool and taxed at the rate that they are taxed on the ordinary income. So put it all together and tax it properly. And then we need to reintroduce estate duties. You know, even in America where they hate taxes, they've got estate duties over there. We gave them up here. And so the wealthy pass their wealth on to the next level of the family and pass it on, and it just gets more and more wealth created in a tinier, smaller and smaller number of hands. We've got to turn those things around. So if you look at the cost of living and taxation policy, that's what it's directed at. Those are the main features. We're shifting tax from the poor to the wealthy. And at the moment we've got National, ACT and the Māori Party shifting it the other way. They're putting more and more tax burden on the poor. Increasing GST, that's increasing the tax burden on the poor. The other one I want to mention is education, and education is a huge area, and we've had a hell of a lot of input that you'll see in it. I've been involved in education work for quite a while through a group